The worst kind of ableism is the ableism that is demonstrated by the neurodivergent, the internalized ableism. Because not only does the ableist neurodivergent person attack other neurodivergent people, other vulnerable people within their own group, that neurodivergent people should feel safe around you if you're neurodivergent, and your inability to accept them and meet them where they're at makes you look like a hypocrite, but also further stigmatizes neurodivergent people, which all in all, eventually that measuring stick that you're using against others will be used against you yourself. So that's one thing to remember. The next is, if you are that ableist towards other neurodivergent people, 3 fingers always point back. 1 finger points out, 3 fingers point back. So if I see a neurodivergent people being ableist against other neurodivergent people, the thing I think of is, how much does that person hate themselves? Number 1. Number 2, how much unresolved and undealt with trauma they are carrying around like a set of luggage. And if you have trauma, and you know you have trauma, it's your job to deal with your trauma as a responsible adult. If you had cancer, you'd go to the doctor. So if you have trauma, go to your therapist. Get it sorted. Figure it out. That's your job. It's not everyone else's job to put up with your trauma. I have trauma. I take accountability for my own trauma because it's mine. It doesn't belong to anyone else but me. I'm the one who has the trauma. It's all in here, self-contained, and it shouldn't be spilling out on other people. You got a leakage problem if you can't deal with your trauma and you can't contain yourself, and if you have to attack other people or react to other people the way that a wounded animal does, you got a problem with your trauma. You got a serious problem, and it's not anyone else's job to fix it but yours. So being messy and yelling at people and getting mad at people because they hurt your feelings is not acceptable behavior, because you need to deal with your stuff. You need to be able to talk calmly and rationally. And if you can't do that, then you have not dealt with your trauma. And how much do you hate yourself if you look at others' behaviors and get so triggered you have to attack them? So that's probably how you were treated. And you need to look at yourself. You need to look in the mirror and say, why does what that person is doing bother me? Why does that get under my skin to the point where I can't control what is coming out of my own lip flaps? Ask that question, please, to yourself. Autistic people that are ableist are extremely problematic because they tend to double down on their ableism. They tend to become inflexible with their ableism. And that's not good for anyone. Being inflexible and ableist leads to being an abusive person. So you therefore become the thing that you hated the most because you won't get in there and clean out your own wound. How do you think those people became abusers? They just were born, fairy dust was sprinkled on them? No. They were hurt and they didn't deal with their shit, and then they became bitter old fucks. And that's what you're going to be if you don't deal with your trauma. It's true. There's lots of nasty shit that happens to you if you don't deal with your trauma. That's just one of them. There's physical things that happen to you when you don't deal with your trauma. You gotta clean up your own mess, or you will deal with the consequences of it. And I said all that to say this. It should not bother you what other people think of you, because you should know yourself so well and like yourself so well that what other people say doesn't really matter. It shouldn't get under your skin to the point where you're freaking out and acting like an idiot. I almost had a fly into my eyeball. But that's the truth. You should not be letting what other people think get you so upset that you can't think clearly. And if you cannot self-regulate, and if what other people say sets you off to a point where you are unable to be calm and rational and discuss it, you have work to do, not the other person. Because quite frankly, and I learned this a long time ago, you cannot change another person. The only person that you are capable of changing is you. You got to look in the mirror and understand that that is the only person you can change. And it takes a lot of work. Dedicated, committed, daily work. Get up off your ass and do it work. Fall on your face, wipe yourself off, and get the fuck back up again. Work. And you don't give up. You don't quit. You just keep going, and you keep your eye on the prize, which is you. Because you can have peace in your soul, and you can get to a point where nothing that anyone says to you will disturb you. Because you have your own peace that no one can take away. If you know who you are, and you are confident of who you are, if you know in your heart that you're X, Y, or Z, nobody in the world can take that away from you. Nothing anyone can say over you can change that. You are who you are, period. End stop. Nothing else. So, how do you get so upset over what strangers on the internet, you don't even know these people, they're not physically in your presence. Why would you let anything that any of these people say get under your skin? They're just a bunch of people on the internet. You don't know them. They are no one to you. That's why nobody says anything to me, because I seriously do not care. There's no opening, because I am healing myself. I have healed myself from those wounds. Somebody could walk up to me and say, "You're this, you're that." I'd be like, "Okay, that's interesting, but not relevant." And walk away. Continue on with my life. Because I don't need to let what other people do affect me. I control me. Only me. I'm the only person in control of this. You are the only person in control of you. You control you. You need to look in the mirror and say, "I control me." You need to do that every single day so that you remember it. Because there is definitely something wrong with your mental state. If something, like, you need some serious help. You need to go, you don't need to just go to the hospital. You need to go to the doctor, and you need to get your ass a therapist and get therapy on the regular. If what someone says on the internet will throw you into a mental state. That's all I'm going to say today, kids.